Hey yo, it's your boy Ancient Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew plus one. We have the usual suspects of AD or Alpha Dean, we have Spiggs 18 or Anthony, and today we have a very special guest of Aloof, community member of the CU and overall great person. Yeah, they are just awesome. But without further ado, just gonna get the ball rolling. Oh no, excuse me. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Moonbeam and go to our other platforms and follow us there on Twitch, YouTube, and whatnot if you haven't already. But yeah, without further ado, Sean K Reynolds, what are we doing here tonight?
Howdy, folks. We are doing a short one-shot adventure set in the world of Gunslinger Knights, and I'll be giving a quick rundown about this setting, which is the next book coming up from Monte Games, and then I'll turn it over to y'all, and you can introduce your characters to the audience. Y'all ready? Great.
Yes.
So, the world of Gunslinger Knights is a pretty bizarre place. The player characters are members of this knighthood called the Gunslinger Knights. They are the last survivors of another world where they were heroic people, and a horrible horde of demons and such basically ruined and destroyed their world. The Knights were about to make a last stand and just be eradicated along with everything else when the powers above, the various pantheons of gods, basically took the castle where the knights had holed up, ripped it out of that world as it was being destroyed, and placed it atop of this multi-dimensional pillar called the Stair Across Souls. And so now the Gunslinger Knights live in this tiny demiplane that's not much bigger than a castle, and they can use the Stair Across Souls to get to various other worlds. And one of the worlds that the Knights have discovered in the following generations is called Sankara, and that's where our action takes place tonight. Sankara was originally an ocean world that the first creatures that gained sentience were aquatic creatures, and they developed powerful magic and technology, and they used those abilities to create, they just basically rose sections of the ground from the ocean floor up above the surface of the water, and they decided that they wanted to have servitors, so they just opened up some dimensional portals and grabbed a bunch of things that turned out to be humans from some other world and populated their cities with them. Eventually, these humans rebelled with the power of a very precocious child who had developed a new kind of magic. They built their own society on the ruins of their aquatic oppressors. And then they built some very powerful artifacts, and after 1,000 years, they turned those artifacts on each other in a horribly devastating war that wrecked this giant continent that they had built. Most of the continent fell back into the water, and most of the people were eradicated. They had knocked themselves down to probably around 5,000 or 10,000 people total. Horrified by what they had done, the survivors gathered and swore that they would never again wage war because they had seen the horrors of it. And they swore, and this place is called the Covenant Rock. And they slowly, in the intervening 1,000 or so years, have spread out across these weird, the remnants of this continent they're called the plateaus. And they kind of make this big C-shaped structure in the center of this water world planet, where these plateaus are maybe about a mile high off the ground. So there's all these relatively level spots with mountains and stuff on them, but then the edges are just a sheer drop off of 4,000 to 6,000 feet. That has restricted their ability to spread and repopulate this area because they have to, go down a mile, and then tootle around in boats, get to the next plateau, climb their way back up, and settle there. So some of them are heavily populated because they've been there for 1,000 years. Some of them are very sparsely populated because there's no way to get up there anymore. Unfortunately, in the last few years, these storms of magical power, called the Fundament Storms, have been inflicting great damage upon this world of Sankara because they are opening up portals to this multiple dimensions of pure chaos called the Crawling Deeps, and all these horrible monsters come spilling out. And the Sankarans are just not prepared to deal with this. They are a very peaceful people. They swore an oath against violence. But the crawling horrors are far more powerful than them. But fortunately, the Gunslinger Knights discovered this place, and they have stepped up and said, we'll protect you. We believe that your oath against violence is an honorable thing, and it is our purpose in the dimensions that we find to protect people because we are heroes. So, you, 4 player characters, are 4 recently knighted members of the Gunslinger Knights. Each of you has a blessed weapon and a crafted steed that looks like some kind of motorcycle. There are 2 artifacts back in Castle True. One is called the Dreamed Blade, and the other one is called the it's the Silver Throne. Thank you. And the essence of the Dreamed Blade is projected into each of your blessed weapons, and a splinter of the Silver Throne is incorporated into each of your crafted steeds. So you carry the Dream Blade and the Silver Throne with you when you ride into battle. As I said, you have just recently been knighted, and this is your first mission to go into the world of Sankara. You have been here before as a squire, as part of serving another knight, but this is the first time that you have all been fully knighted on your own. You're being sent to relieve one of the bastions, which is a fortification run by the knights in the world of Sankara. There's a team of knights there that are going back to Castle True. You are stepping up to be on patrol for them. How about we have you each introduce your character by name, tell us what your blessed weapon is and what its name is, and what the name of your crafted steed is, and what your focus is, and what is your favorite ability from being that focus. And let's start with Anthony.
All right, I am playing Selma Bravebird, and she has a silver-plated light pistol as a blessed weapon named Alanka, and her heavy crafted steed is called Chewy, named after her deceased brother, who was also a knight and showed her how to shoot and ride. And
sorry. You were done, I'm sorry.
My favorite ability by far is the Pinwheel of Fire, because I get to shoot out flames out my and anytime I get to burst people in fire, flames, that's always a good time. So I'm gonna go with the Pinwheel of Fire is my favorite ability.
Al, what about you?
Pardon me. So I am playing Albatross. My character sentence is Stalwart Juggernaut who serves the legacy of Beryl. I want to say my little backstory is I was found somewhere, maybe even on Saqqara, and I had amnesia. I didn't know who I was, or no one recognized me or anything. But in the back of my mind, I always had a thing about the sea, and like sea birds. So that's why I kind of went with the pseudonym Albatross. Well, at least my character did anyway. And I got introduced to the knights after being saved. I would say my favorite ability, let me go back. My blessed weapon is a shotgun named the Ancient, named the Crow's Nest, and my crafted steed is a heavy motorcycle that's green named the Ancient. And my favorite ability that I have is called Dreamed Splinter. It lets me let my my blessed weapon blaze with kindled energy from the Dreamed Blade, and it kind of buffs my weapon a bit. But I just enjoy that imagery of my shotgun glowing with energy.
Very cool. All right, let's go to. Yes.
Sean, I never gave my sentence. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm a fearless wayfarer who serves the legacy of Phoros.
Let's go to Aloof.
I am Vitrius, a grim-faced wayfarer who carries the banner of Kobol. Behold, the glory of my medium-blessed rifle goes by the name of Goethe, who will not be forgotten, and my swift and tricksy light-crafted steed, Damien the Stalwart. I am quite fond of my uncanny display, which hopefully will be on display this evening.
But not least, Alpha Dean.
I am Sir Phayder Khan, noble Stormbringer who carries the banner of Argon. By steel and storm, by road and flame, I ride path no cowards dare. Storm spur, my faithful steed, of thunder and smoke, will guide me faithfully through shadow and wrath. Oathfire, in my hand, swift justice, and speaks only when required. Let your voice resound.
Very cool.
And my favorite ability is Clarion, where my steed will play a battle-worthy song, and it can be heard up to a mile away. When approaching, the battle music is intimidating to all our foes. When this music is playing, it can amplify our actions with the destructive sound burst in an immediate distance.
Cool. Thank you, guys. So, you have been knighted. You have just arrived by taking the stair across souls, which is something that your characters have done before, but always before as a squire riding in tandem with your own knight. The stair across souls basically looks kind of like a golden amber path, and overhead the sky is this dark golden color with stars and strange shapes floating by, and they serve sort of like constellations in that you can navigate to this world or another world, presumably, where you want to go by following the path. The navigator back at Castle True gave you the proper stars to follow yourself by, and that allowed you to arrive safely at the Bastion of Kobol outside of the local town of Rurik. So the Bastion is a fortification built and controlled by the Gunslinger Knights. This one also happens to have a dirigible dock, because in addition to their crafted steeds, their motorcycles, the Gunslinger Knights have a small fleet of airships that they use to transport large amounts of materials to some of the more remote continents and stuff. Rurik is a coastal town. They are called... sorry, I'm catching up on my own terminology for this thing. Like I said, these cliffs are, 4,000 to 6,000 feet high, and so there's this seaside beach, which is an encampment where Rurik is. They've carved it out. They've put some piers and docks and that sort of thing. That's where the Sankarans live, and they ship goods up and down a series of switchback roads to get up to the top. At the top is where your fortress is, along with the dirigible dock. So you have just pulled in off the stair across souls. The amber sky, the stair across souls fades away and turns into the normal sun. One of the weird things about the stair across souls is that it always takes about an hour and a half, no matter where you go, but the time differential in the world that you're arriving in is sometimes askew. So you have arrived, and it is late in the afternoon. Time is kind of relative also, because Castle True is surrounded by this golden radiance all the time. It never gets dark there, so the knights just kind of set their own schedules and set their own sleep and wake schedules to be ready whenever the call comes that there is a fundament storm happening. But you've arrived with some supplies for this bastion, which includes some ciphers and some notes from the commanders. One person who is leaving, in addition to the other knights who are on duty here, is the commander of this bastion. Her name is Karina Bale. She's a knight commander, Karina Bale. She is one of the leaders of the... Sorry, I got my map. She is one of the ranking members of the Order of Kobol within the Gunslinger Knights. So I know that Aloof, your character, is probably a little starstruck by her being there. But she is going back to Castle True for a bit of R&R. She's been on duty here for 6 months, and she's going to visit with her family and come back. The person who is taking over is her second, a man named Knight Onyx. And he is a middle-aged guy with graying hair and kind of a handlebar mustache sort of thing. And as you roll up in your crafted steeds, he directs you over to one of the garages where you would park that sort of thing. and a couple of technicians of the knighthood wave you over to a couple of stalls, and they are ready to help you unload your gear and the other supplies and top off your tanks with fuel and such. And Knight Onyx says, welcome, welcome. This is your first time here as knights. Congratulations. I was not obviously there for your knighting ceremony, but it's always good to have another group of people join our knighthood. Thank you for standing up.
Selma has a smile from ear to ear, like she's been dying for this exact moment. She's been waiting for this exact moment her whole life. She's a little short on stature. She has a long brown leather duster that covers up her chainmail that's underneath. Right. She has the holster. Everything is covered in a small hammer. She's smiling, and she looks at you and goes, "Did you serve with my brother? Do you know Knight Chewy?"
I remember him. Yes, He died heroically fighting the hordes of chaos.
I'm so excited for this. When can we go? Like, do we leave now, or do we?
Well, easy. No, we get to. We're gonna find you bunks in the bunkhouse. We'll get some food in you, and then we'll brief you on any news that comes in. Just follow. I'll take you to the bunkhouse. Everybody, please follow me. Shoulder your stuff. Takes you over to the bunkhouse. The bunkhouse holds about, the technicians also stay here, but there is a side that's just for the knights, and there's room for 10 knights, and you are the only 4 who are going to be staying here. The other knights who were here, there were 6 of them, and they are going back to Castle True. So you've got a bit of room to move around in. You could drop off your stuff, have a late meal. Anything you'd like to take care of here before going to the official briefing with Knight Onyx?
I'd like to clean up a little bit.
When the group is all together, I'm gonna be badgering them and asking, "Do you think we'll see any action on the first day?" God, I hope so.
I put a hand up to calm Selma. I'm assuming we've known each other for a while. Just relax. It will come with time. Make sure your preparations are in order. Albatross is mostly like it's like the stoic protector of the group, or tries to be. Mm-hmm. So it says, make sure everything's in order. Because the knights protected him when he was at his most vulnerable. So now he's trying to do the same. So he tells Selma, make sure you have your gear, make sure you have your ammo, make sure you have your gas canisters, all that, or whatever might be in the room that we need to take with us. Yeah. And Albatross, in that time, also getting his stuff ready to go to the briefing.
All right. Anything else you want to take care of before we go to the briefing?
Basically, you guys know Phayder he's born of noble blood, but he's not arrogant or anything like that, but he's also not very talkative all the time. But everything is dress with him. So when, he steps back out, he wears hardened leather, lightweight leather, but it's hardened, so, to give armor protection, kind of like, and it has a golden hue to it, and everything is just pristine. It's like, how does this guy always keep his stuff so clean, and he wears a black vest, and of course the brown hat, and always has on dark mirrored lenses.
Okay, cool. All right, so you're directed over to the mess hall, and you get some food, and then Knight Onyx interrupts your meal. He says, I apologize, fellow knights, but we have a bit of an emergency. A scout, Sankaran scout, has just come in, and there is a storm brewing to the northeast. And we'll need you to ride out and deal with any members of the Crawling Deeps that have come spilling out of it.
This is it, guys. You said it was going to take a while. Look at this. And someone immediately starts getting up and grabbing her gear.
Don't forget to clear your plate.
And as Everybody stands up. Phayder says, "Let our creed stand strong. Let our aims be true and assured."
Sounds fun.
Knight Onyx says, "Do you have your full complement of gear? Like, I know you brought some as part of your supply run, but do you have your allocation of tech from the castle?" He's
Not
basically
as
asking,
of yet.
do you have ciphers?
No.
No.
Oh, all right. He whistles over one of the technician person and says, take them to the munitions room and load them up so they're at full capacity. And they're new, so try and give them stuff that's easy to use. And says, "Yes, sir." Technician leads you over to the munitions area. It is a secure room within the bastion, and let's hand out some ciphers. So this is going to be a mix of machine ciphers from Castle True and ciphers that the people of Sankara make, which is more about herb lore and things like that. So let's start with Dean, because he is on the top of my screen. Dean, they hand you a small backpack-like device that is supposed to attach to your armor. It's called an environmental pack. And it basically has a starter cord, kind of like a lawnmower. And when you pull that cord, for the next hour, it creates breathable air for you and maintains the temperature. So you could go underwater, you could go into the desert, you could go into the icy tundra and remain comfortable for a while.
For 1 hour, right?
For 1 hour, yes. And then Aloof. They hand you a metallic device with a glass vessel connected to it, and you can recognize that this vessel is filled with stuff called Phoros, which is the stuff that most Gunslinger Knight crafted seeds run on. It's a fuel. This object is a flame horn, and it's supposed to fit onto your steed, and basically it's a one-use flamethrower for your crafted steed.
Yes.
And when you activate it, things in a straight line out to a short distance will take 6 points of damage and then continue to burn for 1 point a round afterwards.
Okay, can you run over those numbers again real quick? Straight line up to short distance.
Yep, and it does 6 points of damage on that initial contact, and then 1 point each round afterwards.
For duration?
Until they put out the fire. It's just a quick burst of flame in a path up to short distance, hit as many as you can, and then they'll be on fire until they put it out.
I approve.
And the technician person turns to Selma and hands her a backpack-like device that fits onto your armor or your back if you're not wearing armor. And like the one that Phayder has, this has a starter cord. And what this does is it is a level 5 healing device.
Oh, no.
And you can either start it up now, and it will automatically heal you if your pools go to 0. Or you can start it up when you're hurt, and it'll instantly heal, just like a more common healing sort of cipher.
As soon as you hand it to me, I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. What does this do?" And I pull.
He's like, wait. He looks over to Al, and like, since you seem to be having like a more mentorly role, like, let's calm this one down. Just wait till you're about to go into battle with this before you start it up. And then Al, he gives you a device that attaches to your crafted steed, and it also has a starter cord. This is called a power lift pack. And what it is when you start it, it'll deploy a couple of, basically a couple of helicopter type of rotors and lets you fly a short distance for an hour. Short distance each round. So it's not as fast as your crafted steed, but if you needed to get over an obstacle, you could use that to fly over it.
Wait, how fast and far does it fly again? Sorry.
You can fly a short distance each round for an hour.
Thank you.
And then some of the herbal steeds from the friendly people of Sankara. The Sankaran ones are called Wildcraft, by the way. That's what they call their magic. All right. Phayder, you get anti-venom.
Okay.
Level 5. Aloof, you get a herbal concoction that'll give you the ability to see in the dark for 10 hours.
Nice.
Al, you get a stim, so that's +3 to your next action. And you don't have to use an action to use that. So you can just be like, gulp, 3 steps right away.
Oh, it's 3 steps. Okay.
Yeah. And Anthony, Selma gets a garland of herbs that will add 1 to her speed edge for an hour.
Albatross reaches his hand out as soon as she gets it. Don't eat it yet.
Not yet. And Phayder, I think you have a cipher limit of 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're the one. He takes out a tiny, tiny flask full of very rare crushed herbs. And if you inhale this, kind of like sniffing tobacco, it's a perfection cipher. Your next action will be a natural 20.
Ooh.
Everybody's at their cipher limit now?
Do they have a special name for it?
Yes.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, I can hear you.
I can hear you, Al, but I can't hear Sean.
Oh,
Same.
I was not talking. I was quietly moving my mouth.
oh my
Oh,
God. That's funny.
It messed me up.
Getting
Is there-
trolled.
Was there a specific name for the crushed herbs?
Yes, it's called The Binding of the Covenant. All right, now that you're loaded up with stuff, the technician suggests that you go to the briefing room to talk to Knight Onyx to get the details. In the briefing room, there is a young Sankaran man who is like hot and sweaty, like he's been, running or, riding an animal very quickly to get here. But he says, yes, welcome, Knights. Thank you for your help. We are always honored to have you here to take care of us. Yes, I was to the northeast, and I saw the beginnings of one of the storms with all the crazy colored lights and that sort of thing. And I knew that I should ride here as quickly as I could because the chaos monsters are going to be spilling out. But let me draw you a sketch of what the area looks like. And they take out a map of the nearby area, and he kind of points at the general vicinity of where the storm was starting to appear. This is where I was when I spotted it. So if you can just ride your crafted steeds out to this place, you should be able to see the storm. Like it was just starting when I took off. So it's probably, I've been riding for about an hour, so it's probably in full force by now. So I know your crafted steeds can go faster than our horses can. do you have any questions? I didn't see what sort of creatures were there because it was too soon, and I'm honestly very afraid. But I'll answer whatever questions I can. I know there's a prairie there and some trees and a few streams.
You've answered quite enough. I believe we're ready.
There is a village nearby. It's just a very, very tiny village, so you might want to head toward the village and go from there just to make sure that they don't need to be defended. Our normal practice is that when the hordes appear, we flee because their very presence in the world corrupts the stones, the plants, any flesh that comes near them. So we have just learned to retreat and let the knights, let you knights, do what you do best.
Yeah, us knights. You heard that? Us knights. As she's spinning her light pistol on her finger and putting it back in the holster.
So,
I share your feeling of anticipation.
so
Oh yes.
your enthusiasm is very noted. But remember, focus.
And we're here to protect them.
So you know that you need to go northeast, and there's a village kind of northeast. Do you want to go right to where this young Sankarn man said that he's first spotted the storms, or do you want to go by the village first?
I guess we should hit the village first.
Yeah, Albatross says there must be at least one or two stragglers who didn't get out in time. They may need protecting.
How do we normally ride? I guess this is a question for the group. How do we normally ride? Like the heavy steeds in the back, the lighter ones up front, scout so we could act, a riding formation.
Yeah, Albatross definitely takes the rear.
I ride a medium steed, so I normally hold the middle of the formation, because I try to be versatile in the things that I offer, my clarion and so on and so forth. So if you guys are on fast, if you got the fast and mobile ones want to ride a little bit ahead, that makes sense.
No, I have the heavy steed, so I will definitely fall back as well.
All right. Well, Vitrius is on a light-crafted steed and also has a kind of inclination toward kind of stunt behavior, and so probably some mild shenanigans up front.
Yeah. When you guys walk out, you again shake your head, just wondering how did this guy keep everything so clean? It's ridiculous. He has a silver motorcycle with like the rails on it are gold and they look like lightning bolts, and it's clean, it's sparkling, his uniform is completely clean, and for those not in the know, hedge magic works wonders for this thing. Keep everything clean.
Oh, with that in mind, I can imagine Vitrius using probably transmit voice to kind of ping her a little bit, and just be like, "Oh, is that a coffee stain on your saddlebag?"
Oh.
So to point out to the audience, so one of Aloof's abilities, that's part of your blessed weapon, right?
Yes.
You have the power to transmit your voice to any other knight's blessed weapon within range, kind of like a radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how the knights tend to communicate. It's usually one enemy squad that do that sort of thing. And it makes sense because you were also on one of the faster bikes and can get out there. Cool. All right, so there is not really a road, a very heavily used path/trail leading up to that village. And as you are riding out there, you can see the village in the distance. But before you get there, you're starting to see people who are just, leaving with, a satchel of goods on their back, a couple of their livestock, that sort of thing. And they say, the horde hadn't gotten to us yet, but we saw the storm and we knew to leave. We don't know if like these people who are in the lead are like, we're all still kind of working our way out, so there might be some stragglers back there. But we appreciate, they're always very respectful and very appreciative of your presence there. Some of them are actually kind of like, the younger ones are like, oh, it's the Knights, the Gunslinger Knights. And this might be the first time that they've even seen a Gunslinger Knight riding outside of the Bastion.
Selma, as we start pulling off, Selma removes her hand from the handlebars and the bike is still going. And she turns her whole body and is waving at them. Like, yeah, we're the Knights! As her bike is riding without her touching the handlebars at all.
Because you are the stunt guy.
Yeah.
It's one of your abilities is you can control your bike for a bit without even touching it. Nice. So you get to the village, and as far as you can tell, there's nobody left in the village. They've all and by village, that's a very generous way of phrasing. This is more like a thorp or a hamlet. There's probably about 80 people that live here total, and it seems that they have all evacuated. But who's to say that there might have been somebody in a field out there who didn't get the news or whatever. But from here, you can definitely see that kind of slightly more east than northeast is a thunderment storm. You're seeing the weird colored lightning. You're hearing weird thunderous noises that don't sound right because these are magical storms that are just making connections to a lower, more chaotic level of reality. Are there any preparations you would like to do before you head in that direction? You estimate you'll be there within an hour.
Is the village completely empty? Like,
there are no people in the village. There are some animals that have been like turned loose and that are just kind of wandering around because they didn't want to leave them in pens for the chaos monsters to eat. But there, you don't see any people out here.
I'll pet the dog.
Well, I
that he
imagine
sees
both.
wandering. Oh god.
Oh, all right. So, yep. While you're petting the dog, I see like Vitrius is sort of like looking around, examining for anyone who might still be in need of aid, that sort of thing. But also just kind of sort of quietly, kind of like mumbling a little maybe prayer incantation or something on a little kind of knotted leather twine rope.
Okay. You want to clue me into what you're doing?
It's just literally just kind of getting focused, getting clear, kind of letting go of Vitrius's normal kind of posturing and everything, and kind of sort of changing modes.
Okay. Yeah, it's your little ritual to get ready for a battle. Nice.
Yeah, after petting the dog, Albatross stands up and just tells the group, "Hey, it seems everyone's already vacated. Load up your weapons and let's go." And you see him like putting shells in his shotgun on his back.
Someone will say, look at you petting the dog and say, "Hey, you think this dog is okay here, or should we put him in? Is he in harm's way in any way?"
Yeah, we'll stop the storm we'll stop the monsters, but the horrors before they get here. This pup is fine. I just pat his head again.
Okay. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right.
In the name of Sir Dog, we ride forth.
All right. Are you going to maintain this formation with Vitrius in the lead as the fastest crafted steed?
Yes.
Makes
definitely.
sense.
Okay. You are getting close to the area that Sankaran scout indicated where he had seen the storm start to appear. And given that that was about an hour ago, the storm has already started to spawn some horrors from the crawling deeps. So you have arrived in this area. And Al, could you pull up the map, the pre map for me?
Yeah, 1 second. Oh, I should have had this in an easier spot. Yeah, I got it pulled up so the whole stream can see it.
So you are approaching from the southwest, and I will change my camera to the map in a little bit when we get to actually doing tactical stuff. You're approaching from the southwest. There are a few kind of low hills and ridges here, some groups of trees, and then further up ahead is a stream kind of running from northwest to southeast with more trees and low hills behind it. And approaching that stream are a bunch of horrors of the crawling deeps that look like some very bizarre things that don't really make sense in terms of the normal sort of animals and plants and stuff that you've seen in your explorations and visits to this world. There is a group of things that look kind of like giant brains crawling around on tentacles. There's a group of things that look kind of like mushroom humanoids. And a couple of things that look like just kind of animate piles of yellow slime. And then in the back, it's kind of hard to tell because these things are stirring up a lot of dust as they move. But there are a couple of larger creatures in the back that you can't really make out.
You guys are used to it. You hear me mumbling my oath. I am not vengeance, though I tread its path. I am not mercy, though I grieve each shot. I embody memory of oath. I am the flame that remains steadfast.
So we're going to enter a tactical sort of scenario now. The main thing to remember is that your crafted steeds are not just technology, they are magic, and they are bonded to you. They don't work for anybody else. Like, you can designate somebody else to ride it, or even to drive it if they had to. For example, if you had a squire and you were mortally injured, you could say, "Squire, drive us back to town," and they'd be able to use your vehicle. But under normal circumstances, nobody else can drive your vehicle, nobody else can control it. It basically operates as a part of you. So, rather than dealing with normal vehicle rules where you would be making ride checks or piloting checks to do things, you just need to think of this as your character's normal move is now a long distance when you're on your steed. So instead of moving an immediate distance and then being able to make an attack, you can move a long distance and attack. Instead of using your entire action to move a long distance, you can use your entire action to move a very long distance. So you are just incredibly mobile, able to move around really, really far. So this tactical map that I'm going to point to in a bit is about 1,000 feet by 1,000 feet. And you can move, each of these squares is 10 feet. And because a short move for you is 100 feet, you can move 10 squares. So I'm going to switch my camera over to tactical map. Hopefully this is not wacky.
I'm excited to see it.
How far ahead is Vitrius from the rest of the group?
Oh, Vitrius doesn't ever actually like get terribly far away. It's just a little bit of fooling around that takes place.
Okay, can everybody see the map?
Yes.
Is the map, like, is my hand on the left hand or the right hand of the map? I can't tell if it's flipped or not.
Right hand.
I see it
You're
on the right.
right-hand side.
Great. Good. So it looks backwards to me, but you're seeing it as I drew it. Cool. That's what I was hoping for. Discord doesn't let me flip it. All right, so here are the four of you. So this initially is very representational because each of these squares is 10 feet. Obviously, your crafted steeds are not 400 feet long. But I'll center one for each of you with a little flag.
Speak for yourself, sir.
So, you are starting over here in the southwest corner. The sun is starting to go down. So the sun is coming behind you, which might be to your advantage because the crawling hordes are going to be having the sun in their eyes. We've got a bunch of... This way. All right. Likewise, these creatures are not this big, but I don't have a little tiny, tiny, tiny miniatures for this. So, these are the things that look like brains on tentacles. There we go. And then these are the things that look like humanoid mushrooms, and they're not in formation. They are just kind of all clustered up doing their own thing. And then these are the things that look like weird piles of tentacle slime.
Yep.
And they are approaching. So this is kind of a low slope going up to a ridge here, and this is a low slope going up to a ridge here. They're kind of traveling in the low path between the two, heading towards this stream. And you are similarly kind of, this is a ridge, this is a ridge, and this is a ridge that turns into a shallow sort of cliff. So you can ride on these. Riding up the cliff might be a challenge, except for perhaps for Selma, who is a really good stunt driver sort of thing. But you're kind of coming in from this low area right here. So I want to know, are you going to like try and ride up and just meet them head on? You're going to try and come around this way, get up to a tactical height advantage over here? What is your plan? Again, you can move 10 squares as your move, so that's like this is a short move for you. And a long move is probably half the battlefield. Just a question of, are you all going to stick together? Somebody going to split ahead and do something wild?
I'm immediately accelerating to catch up to the front because I want to jump that ramp thing. Jump that little dune.
Okay.
And once I hit that peak, my hands, I'm going to let go of the handlebars again and pull out my weapon to fire.
All right, so I'm going to ask you, Selma. Your brother Chewie died fighting the Horde. Was he into doing crazy stunts and stuff like you were?
No, my brother was the exact opposite. He was probably closer to what Dean's character is.
Okay.
He was more closer to, he was he believed in the order, the knighthood, more than I do. I'm more reckless.
All right, so you're going to be moving up this to make a cool jump up there. That's your plan?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What about everybody else?
Well, I assume that Selma just does that, like doesn't really tell us and just does it. So Albatross would just be like, "Damn it, Selma, we gotta get a formation," and like zoom like to chase her, basically.
All right. Albatross is going to pull up to come after Selma. What about Phayder and Vitrius?
Oh yeah, Vitrius is already halfway there. Once Vitrius saw that a team member was on the move, that was it. It's time to go.
Okay.
And Phayder
Vitrius basically is just like, friends, that rabble over there offends my personal aesthetic.
Clarion will start playing, and it's a variation on Battle Cry by Imagine Dragons. And basic, since it can be heard up to 1 mile away, basically our battle music is playing, guys.
Nice.
And it just rev the engines, in the background to get that, and I'm bringing up the rear in order to support my guys.
Okay. So my question for Selma is, how far do you want to go ahead? Like, you all kind of move at the same speed in this tactical sort of setup, but you're setting the pace.
Yeah, I'm revving it as far as I could go. Like I'm full throttle. So
All right.
Any distance I could create, I'm gonna create.
All right. Well, you can go up to.
Is now an appropriate time to mention that we may as well go ahead and pop a Knight's Grace for 2 speed.
Yes.
So that for the next 10 minutes, all speed-based actions other than attack rolls that I attempt are eased.
Okay, so that is an action for you, right?
Yes.
All right, so that will limit you to going...
No, it is it is an enabler. I misread.
Oh, sweet. All right, great. All right, so Selma, very long distance is 50 squares. So you could move... You could do a big old fancy jump right up here and get up to the stream right there if you like, or you want to come this way. You're going to meet him head on.
Sean, since I'm hands-free, right, can I pop my Cypher as I'm doing this? My garland herbs, like start eating them like gummies?
I will say you can do that if you make a fairly easy ride check. Like someone else would be, this is almost trivial for you.
Yeah.
This is more like how cool you can look while you do it.
I got a 13 on the die.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, you're just like standing on the seat, one hand shoveling these things in your mouth, the other hand, drawing your weapon, I guess.
There goes
Cool.
my hero.
Oh,
So Selma, do you want to go kind of straight north and do a jump up, or you want to do a jump and turn? Where do you want to end up? Because you can end up pretty much anywhere along here.
I want to jump and turn in between where your fingers is. I'm assuming those green things are like bushes, right?
Those are trees.
Yeah, I'm in between those two trees, exactly where your fingers are, where your finger is.
You drive over here, right up this ridge, do a sick jump, land, probably, do a bit of drifting, and then do it on over here. There you go, and you're going to be at the river. And Aloof, you were pretty much ready to chase after her. So where do you want to be? You can do a formation, or are you going to spread out a bit? I can't hear you, Aloof.
Oh.
So I'll go on to Al.
Sorry
Aloof, come back. Oh, there you are.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. But yeah, I think the plan is to stick like Top Gun close.
Okay. So you have the same movement that Selma does. And I'm just going to be basically assuming that the nose end of your crafted steeds, these little toys, is where you are actually positioned. So again, these are about 80 feet long to scale, which is not how big your crafted steeds are. You want to be like there, maybe, or over? How's that?
All right. So, practical question about the map. At what distance from that rabble are we within attack range?
Well, you have a medium rifle, which has very long range. So
yes,
you have a 500-foot range with that. And 500 feet is this. So basically that little ridge, once you're across that hill, you're in range to start shooting some of these things.
Okay, all right.
When Aloof pulled up next to me, I looked at him and smiled. I said, "What took you so long?"
I was admiring the view.
You saw that jump? That jump was pretty cool, right?
Sick. Quite sick.
Alan Dean, what you got?
Go ahead, Al.
You're both using shotguns, so your range is a lot shorter than them.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna
both
do?
of us are using shotguns.
So you said that thing that Selma jumped off was like a dune, so it's not like a cliff.
This is a low ridge. It's like it's a slope up to a higher point. Like this, where it's a solid line right there.
Okay.
That's an actual cliff, and this is an actual cliff. But this right here, this is just an incline.
Nah, so then with my heavier steed and whatever, I'll be slower to catch up or whatever. But I want to be like right behind where they are, in between the ridge and the cliff. That makes sense.
All right. So here.
Yeah, about there. I'm screaming. I was like, guys, formation! Like I'm like screaming at the two who went ahead. Like, we gotta stay in formation. And I just try to like catch up to them essentially.
All right. Cool.
And I'll do the same. I'll pull up, with Al, keeping in formation.
You want to be next to Al?
Actually, move me a little bit. Give some space between me. Like put me on the other side of whoever's bike that is.
Over here.
Just a little bit further out. A little more. Yes.
Way out here. Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool. Sorry, I'm navigating this reversed on my screen, and the opposite. Like the map is oriented the other way. This is my face.
Yeah, this way. That way, nobody's going to be in my field of fire.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. All right, the Chaos Horde is going to move forward, and they are only moving a short distance this turn, so I'm going to scoot them up. Here we go. So these ones in the front are just touching the water. And you still can't really see whatever creatures are in the back. But now that you are close enough, you can tell that there are like 3 of the mushroom things, about 7 of the brain things, and 3 of the amber tentacle things. All right, so let's, since we're basically in range for shooting, let's roll initiative, please.
Oh,
I'm trained in initiative.
oh, I should look. I don't think I am. I sure am not. I rolled 16.
I rolled a 5. Gone, done it.
I got a 14.
I got a 17.
I got a 14 and I'm trained.
And I got 16.
And Dean, you rolled a 17?
Yes.
All right. Well, everybody but Aloof gets to go before them. So, in any order you can go. Please.
I already know what I want to do, so I'm going to do it because I think we need to do this. What Al does is he takes his the power lift pack and attaches it to his steed, however that works, wherever the attachment nozzle, whatever it is, pulls the yank or ripcord or whatever it is, and the rotors pop out, and it's ready for flight. But before I fly, I want to like drive up to the water and then basically fly over the water to get closer to the group, to the enemy group.
Okay. You can fly a short distance on your turn, and that's about 5 of these squares. So this stream is about 5 squares, about 50 feet across.
Oh, wait, I guess this is a good question. Can I hover, or is it just a short flight and then I land again?
You can hover.
Okay, so what I want to do is hover over the water, essentially, and like be looking at the Horde more closely.
Okay, so you can drive up to it, and then you'll be hovering.
Yeah.
Cool.
Essentially, right. I would just want to get as close as I can while hovering.
All right.
Let me go next because this actually helps the party. I want to use my discerning eye ability, and I could, for one, I could learn the level of 3 creatures within very long range.
Okay, they are all in very long range. So, which 3 do you want to single out?
Can I single out one of each? Because I know we got a mushroom, so I could get the level of, or do I have to group them like the 3 in the front?
Oh, they don't have to be the 3 in the front. So the mushroom things are level 2, the brain things are level 2, and the slime things are level 3.
Have we ever been in this area before? Do we know the depth of this this stream? Do we?
No, but from here you can see it's about like 3 feet deep.
Oh, so we can ride right through it.
Yeah? Question mark. Like there may be shallower, but it's 30 to 40 feet, so there might be deeper parts, but you could probably make it.
You know what?
It's I'll say you could gun your engine and with a ride check, hydroplane your crafted steed across the water.
That's exactly what I was just about to ask you if I could do.
Okay. So if you're going to do that, I need you to make a ride roll.
All right.
The difficulty is going to be 5.
All right, then I will spend 3 points out of my speed pool to give myself a level of effort. Because, yes, I do not have edge in that one. Let me see if I have anything else that might help. No. All right, here we go. So I got to get a 12 or better. And I got exactly a 12.
Nice. All right, so you gun your engine, just gonna roll your...
And you said we could move up to a long distance and still act, right?
Yes. So you can move 10 squares forward. So, about anywhere about here. Get fully across and on the dry land again. And still take an action. Would you like to?
Now, what distance would they make them at from me?
They would still be at least a long distance away.
Okay. I'm gonna hold that action. You know what I'll do? I'll actually spend 2 might points and activate my Blessing of Argon, increasing my armor by +1 for the next 10 minutes.
All right. So you're going to move up to a long distance. So you've got another 5 squares of movement here. Where would you like to be? Vitrius, your flag's in the way.
Just actually, right about there is good.
Okay, so you're just kind of paralleling the water now?
Yeah.
All right.
Because the plan is especially if they start to head across the water, I'm going to strafe them from the side,
What?
try to get enfilade shot on them.
Either way, so the two of you with shotguns, are you got slugs or do you have buckshot in there?
I have, because you said mine was a double barrel, I have 1 buckshot round and 1 solid slug round.
Okay.
And I would probably have the slugs too.
Okay. Sounds good. And Anthony, what was your action that was going to benefit everybody?
Yep. I'm gonna let loose to the. I'm gonna fire to the front. I'm staying where I at because my light pistol goes a long range. They're in target, right, for me.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
you all have at least. Let's see. Yep, you have long range. You can hit him from there.
Oh, can I use 2 speed points to use my fan the hammer ability? So after firing my light pistol, you can make another pistol attack against the same target or
Yes,
a
but
different one.
you would make your attack first and then say,
okay.
"Oh, I want to use fan the hammer."
Okay.
And do you want to stay on this side of the stream, or you want to try and cross over?
No, I want to stay where I'm at, and I probably missed. I got an 8.
Which one were you firing at?
The one I set the front one, so
That's one of the brain guys.
Yeah, the brain guy.
And they are level 2.
Oh, nice. So that's
also you have a light pistol, which means it's eased. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Right.
So
how much damage do you do?
4 points.
4 points.
And now I want to use the fan, the hammer, and fire at the same target.
Alrighty.
That was a 5 ease.
5 eased. Well, that is not quite level 3, but they're level 2, so that is enough to hit it. And you do another 4.
Correct.
Yeah, and you just shoot this thing like in its weird little brain-like body. I'll point out that yes, your gun is a light weapon, but is doing 4 damage. Everybody's weapons do more damage than what their standard Cypher system equivalent would do, because they're magic.
And I'm staying where I'm at so I don't get in the way of the 2 shotguns.
Okay, great. Then Al.
Me or Vitrius?
Well, you're ahead of them.
I mean, I'm still flying, but I would just fly closer and.
Oh, right. Sorry, you were flying and hovering. I don't have a hover thing for you, so I was. I'll put a pen under you, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm making this difficult.
Impractical. I need another device.
A little like I would use my vapes. That's what I would do.
Yeah. It's fine. I'll remember now. You are hovering.
Yeah,
okay, so now the Horde gets to go. And what the Horde does... Now, one thing to know about these crawling deeps creatures is most of them are just pretty much mindless. They just attack with beast-level intelligence, if that. So a bunch of them are just going to wade into the water. I'm after you.
Making the sound effect.
And they are the little brain ones. They're kind of like just the tops of their brain bodies are sticking out of the water. The mushroom people, they're kind of like up to their waists in water. And the slime things, they kind of go into swimming mode. They're kind of like octopuses now. They're just kind of like flashing little tentacles. But this other group sticks to the shore and goes running at Selma. Sorry, running at Phayder. Selma's flag is flashing over there. So yeah, they actually run up to you, Phayder, but they do not get to take an attack action while they're doing that. They have to use their full-on run to get there. And none of them are in range to attack you just yet. So it is Aloof's turn.
Okay, so considering that they are kind of right up on us, and Vitrius prefers the advantage of ranged combat, I feel like Vitrius is going to kind of do a little arc and kind of sweep around to maybe about like 4 o'clock on these guys to kind of have a little bit of distance back and do some shooting.
Okay, so you can move.
Now, is it possible to do this in such a manner that it's an uncanny display, and we can perhaps say, oh, you know, his rolling a 5 and being so slow is because he was setting up a stunt for an attack?
Sure.
With that in mind, that would simply be a shot through the nearest brain with Goethe, who will not be forgotten. A medium blessed rifle.
It does look like in the lead or some of the mushroom ones, the nearest brain is kind of half submerged in the water. Unless you want to shoot with this one.
Actually, just the nearest mushroom would be fine. Basically, anything that looks like a good clean shot.
All right, that'd probably be this one because you're now dealing with there's some trees that are just kind of flanking you. You know, you chose where you wanted to be, so you could be here, you could be even over here. You got a long distance move. You're gonna be on this side of the trees.
I was thinking about kind of flanking them, so about where you're at now, except maybe back a little bit from them, to have the advantage of, you know, just the ranged weapon.
No, yeah, you got plenty of movement, so that's perfect. All right, so then you could shoot this guy in the water, or this one in the water, or probably not the slime thing, or this mushroom right here. What do you think?
I'll go for the mushroom you just pointed out last. So
All
for
right.
uncanny display, do I roll an attack and roll for the stunt?
Remind me what uncanny display does?
You combine a wheelie, jump, standing on the saddle, some other unlikely stunt while riding your crafted steed, possibly even jumping from your moving motorbike and safely for both you and the steed as part of your attack. This discomforts or catches at your opponent, inflicting extra damage. Choose whether you want a simple stunt or a taxing stunt. Taxing stunt is a difficulty 2 speed task, and on success, it's +2 damage.
Then you decide if do you want to do a taxing stunt?
Yes.
All right, then go ahead and make that roll first, and then we'll see if you get your extra damage.
Okay. All right, and we rolled an 18.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you do something pretty cool. Do you have an idea what your taxing stunt is, or do you want me to suggest something?
Oh, well, now I'm curious. I was going to say something, but I have to hear the suggestion.
All right, well, since you came from over here, you had to go past that group of trees, and I'm thinking you probably came around and then did a hard left turn with your front brake on, and basically kind of like go up on a front wheelie, and then almost pitch over, and then just kind of use your inertia to turn yourself and do a 180 and land. So you kind of did this sort of thing. You went and land like that. How's that sound?
Yeah, the best part was how Vitrius was rolling a cigarette during this entire stunt.
Nice. And Vitrius, you are using a rifle. So you can fire that one-handed, but it's hindered. So do you want to like finish rolling your cigarette and then stick that in your mouth and then fire, or are you just still holding the cigarette with one hand and firing one-handed?
Oh, the cigarette is just between Vitrius's finger and the trigger.
Okay. Make your attack roll, please, against Captain Mushroom.
All right. No, that can't be right. That was another 18. I'm going to roll again. All right. Whoa, that's a GMI. We got a 1.
Oh.
I just didn't trust that 18.
The first GMI of the day. It's usually the best.
I'm gonna say
You drop your cigarette.
that would just be sad.
It was poorly rolled.
What actually happens is there is another creature that was ahead of the pack in this group of trees, and it leaps out of the trees and scampers across the ground, and it's going to attack you. And it's a weird kind of like hairless ape sort of monster, just covered in these red blisters.
Does anyone
Sound like
smell
you-
something funny?
I would like you to make a speed defense roll, please.
All right, that's a 15.
Okay, yeah, you dodged that nicely, but it does smell pretty rank.
Ooh.
And you missed your shot, unfortunately. All right, and we are back up at the top of the initiative. Just the rest of the gang, please.
Dean, you want to go first?
Sure. So, if I can, Sean, I'm just going to do that classic spin the bike out, and just come up with oath fire.
Mm-hmm.
Boom! Buckshot round right into all of them. I'm going to spend a level of effort to increase the damage. No, actually, what I'll do is I'm going to add my thunder shot to it. I'm going to spend 2 intellect points and add the thunder shot on top of it.
Nice.
And then you know what? Then I will go ahead and spend a level of effort as well. We reduce my
Damage?
intellect and increase the damage on the thunder shot. So that's going to add an additional +2. So that's a total of +4 to 4 damage. Let's see if I can hit something. Nine.
This is buckshot round, right?
Yes.
So you're using this to attack multiple creatures?
Yes.
Then you should make multiple attack rolls. It's up to 3.
And
right?
it's eased. So that would actually been hit at level 4. That would have been a 12.
Okay.
9.
Hits.
8 plus. That's an 8.
That hits. Yeah, you know from Selma that the brain ones are the weakest.
Oh boy, I got an 18. So that's what? Another +2?
+2 damage. All right, so how much damage total without the extra +2?
They would have taken 8 points each.
Okay, so you just do a cool spin and blow in some thunder shot and a little precision damage and the 18. And these 3, your buckshot just obliterates them. They just send these horrible, disgusting chunks of chaos, horror in every direction. And I don't have my XP cards down here in this game room, but this is GM intrusion time.
For who?
For whom?
For Dean.
I'll take it.
All right. So this stuff is not only disgusting, but you feel it having some sort of chemical effect on you. It's like making you feel numb and also like heavily like allergic, irritated at the same time. I would like you to make 3 might defense rolls.
Ooh, oh god, I don't have a lot of that. 11, 9, 6.
Okay, so those are all successes, but you are going to take some spray damage regardless. So you're going to take 6 points of speed damage total. That's 2, 2, and 2. So your armor applies to each of those.
Thank God I take no damage.
Nice, because you are you carry the banner of Argonne, and they're all about armor, right?
Yes.
Yes, very nice. Okay, cool. Who are you giving that other XP to?
Let's give it. You know what? Let's give it to Vitrius. He seems to be in a tight situation. We'll give it to Vitrius starting out.
Much appreciated, good sir. Much appreciated.
I'm going to be replacing the brains with goodbye marks, so the battlefield is less cluttered. Let's go over there by Selma. All right, that is Phayder. What about Selma and Albatross?
Selma, since Chewie's a heavy steed, I'm just gonna put my hands on the handlebars for the first time, and just because I could plow into 3 people at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving straight forward and just plowing right into them.
Okay, so like for Phayder, you're going to need to make a roll to. Well, let me ask you this: do you think you can cross this stream without getting deep enough that it's going to interfere with your engine, or do you want to try and race across and hydroplane?
Me personally, I would want to hydroplane, but I think Selma wouldn't give a crap. She's just, I'm just driving forward. So whatever the consequence for that is, that's what I would take.
Okay, so you have a heavy steed, which means you can make a ramming attack against up to 3 creatures.
Yes.
As you are making your approach, I am going to GM intrusion you, and you actually have hit a low spot in the stream. I'd like you to make a ride roll to.
Oh, and since I'm a heavy steed, isn't that I'm hindered in those rides?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So you need to make a ride roll to keep your steeds, basically your air intake, from going underwater and making your engine stall.
All right, I got a 16 on the die, and I'm
Great. No, you're great. You, with your keen eye for stunts and stuff, you're like, I see that's getting a little low. Oh, there's like a nice big rock in the stream that I'm just going to do a little bump over that and keep my carburetor clear of the water. So yeah, you do just fine. Who do you give your other XP to?
I am gonna give it to Albatross.
Okay. And why don't you go ahead and make your 3 ramming attacks against
All right.
probably the brain of these two slime things.
The first was a 2.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
That misses.
The second one was a 13.
That hits.
And the last one's a natural 1.
Okay, so you miss the brain, you hit this slime thing, and you do 6 damage because it's a heavy steed, right?
Yep.
All right. And you miss the third one, which means you're going to end up like over here. And for that GM intrusion, I'm going to say that this slime thing that you were trying to hit just kind of did. You know that scene in The Lord of the Rings where all the riders are riding along and then Legolas is shooting and he just kind of like grabs the reins of the horse and pulls himself up and he's like riding the horse and he just kind of mounts while the horse is riding by at full speed. That's what this slime monster does. You're just kind of like, it leans out of the way, but it's very elastic and it just kind of loops one of its tentacles around your handlebars and now it is up and is landing on you.
Oh.
So I would like you to make a speed defense roll.
I got a +1 because of my Cypher. Natural 20.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So this thing is still hanging on from your handlebar on that one side, but it's having a hard time actually like trying to grab onto you. So you just have a very gross passenger on your grafted steed right now. But you did squish. You did squish this one slime creature, but it's still up. It's pretty resilient for not having bones and such. And they're going to go. That thing attacked you as a geometry.
Quick question, Sean. Did I clear the river, or am I still in the water?
You have made it through. They were on the other side.
Okay, cool.
They're just on the other shore. So it's hard to tell at the scale, but your 80-foot long bike is fully out of the water. Right. That attack was the GM intrusion. Now it's the chaos creature's turn to go. So that one's going to attack you.
I haven't Yeah, I haven't gone this
Oh,
round
right,
yet.
right.
All
Technicality.
Albatross is gonna do is seeing that everyone's in the mix already. He starts he unsheaths or whatever his shotgun, the crow's nest, and starts rubbing some inscriptions on the side of it, and starts whispering like incantation, and starts to use the ability Dreamed Splinter, which is a thing that
Cool.
makes my weapon blaze with energy from the Dream Blade, and it makes my weapon a little bit stronger, and if anyone tries to touch me, they take damage, and I have armor against fire. So
Nice.
you
Is
see
that an enabler?
well, it's an enabler, yes.
Cool. Okay.
So you see him start to rub the inscriptions, mutter the words, and he starts to have this faint like golden glow from the Dream Blade's energy, and then he starts to he's still hovering, so he goes as far as he can
Right.
or as close as he can to the group there. Whoever's
Okay,
closest
so
to.
you are here, and you can go about 5 squares. You could get all the way across the stream if you want. If you want to go straight across, or you'd probably be kind of in midair over here, still above the river.
I would do that where the second one, because again I can hover for an hour, so I'm pretty safe.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll be hovering above the river in that spot there, and I don't think we've got a clear description, or maybe I missed it, of the units that were in the back that were like mysterious. I'm trying to get a beat on those guys if I can. Like, can I see them?
So
Like,
they are bigger than these things are. Why don't you go and make a perception roll to see if you can like see through the dust well enough to what the hell is up with those things?
I got a 10. I don't think I have any skills that help. No.
That's good enough. One of them looks like a. It's like a
Ooh.
big snail with 2 snail heads, and the other is something that looks kind of like if you took a crab and you stretched out its legs and made it walk like on its tippy toes, like a horse or a giraffe. There's like a big armored crustacean sort of thing, and a big snail sort of thing.
I relay that to the group. I don't know if we know the names of these things or if we've ever seen them before, but I say, guys.
Like,
oh God.
Just like most of them, most of these crazy horrors you'd never see them again, right? They're just
okay.
There are some that are like a species of this that show up a few times, but most of them are like, oh yeah, this time this thing looked like a dog with 4 heads, and this time it was a cat with 2 tails, and so they're just like they're just chaos. They're just things mashed together to look like whatever.
So as I'm aiming my shotgun towards whatever target is nearest me, as I'm hovering over the river, right before I pull the trigger, I say, "The big boys are in the back," and at my group, and then I pull the trigger, on whatever is nearest to me.
And you're loaded with 2 slugs, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the 2 nearest to you are one of these brain things, which is due to Selma's intel, is level 2, and there is a mushroom, which is also level 2. The slime things seem to be a little more dangerous, but there are none within range of you right now.
Now I think I would try to take out the mushroom guy because it's on the same side as Vitrius, and he's alone on that end. So I think I'll shoot at the mushroom guy on that side of
All right.
Let me roll my dice.
And shotgun is ease, I believe. No, sorry, that was because Dean was using buckshot. This is not ease. That's a level 2 creature.
Oof. I rolled a 5. I don't think I have anything that boosts it, so I actually hit. Just make sure.
Roll again.
I really want to hit, so I'm going to use my XP to
Okay.
reroll this. Probably not the best use of it, but I really want that thing to die, so.
Yeah.
Alright, that was a 16.
Yeah, that totally hits. And how much damage you do?
I think it's 8.
Okay.
Buckshot does. I mean,
8.
Salad Slug does 8.
All right. So yeah, you from your hovering position basically just point your shotgun down on this thing and blow a hole in its weird fungal head,
Doof.
and it falls over. But gem intrusion time.
Take it,
You
of course.
see that it is like instead of brains, its head is full of like these weird kind of like reddish fruit. Like they're probably not actually fruit, but they like these. They look like about the plum-sized little red things, and they just kind of like spill out and scatter on the ground all around here. And you don't know what those are doing just yet, but that's a GM intrusion on you.
All right, so I'll give my bonus XP to Vitrius because again, those things are on his side of the river or whatever. So yeah, so I'll get the one and give the other one to Vitrius.
Okay, that's your action, and now the Horde's going to go. Vitrius, I'd like you to make a speed defense against this hairless ape thing covered in blisters.
That I can do so. All right, let's see. That is an 11 plus Knight's Grace. Eases it. So 14, effectively.
8. That dodges. Things are pretty quick. All right. Phayder. This brain thing and this tentacle thing are going to charge up to you and attack. So I need two speed defense rolls, please.
5, 7.
Okay. The 5 fails. You are hit by the slime monster. And it does 4 points of damage as its weird kind of tentacle is just oozing acid on you.
Well, we can
The other
reduce
one,
that by 2.
the brain creature, you dodge. Anthony, Selma needs to make a speed defense against 4 of these things.
Alright, I got a +1 on all my rolls because of Cypher. 15 on the first one, 17 on the second one,
Nice.
3 on the fourth one, and 7 on the no, that was the fourth one. So I had a 3, 7, a 14, and a 7.
3 is the one that's stuck to your bike, so it's going to do 4 points of acid damage to you. The other ones are...
That's speed damage or might damage?
That's might damage.
So does my 2 armor affect that in any way?
Yep,
Or do I...
it does.
Okay. All right.
And this mushroom is going to go over to and start running towards Vitrius, but it can only just barely get to you and not attack. And unfortunately, Selma, the snail thing, is a lot faster than it seems. And it gets about halfway to you, and then it reaches out with a weird kind of like raspy snail tongue thing from each of its heads. And you need to make 2 speed defense rolls against that.
Okay. 5 on the first one, and 13 on the second one.
13, you dodge. But the 5 misses. It's the 5 hits you, and you take 4 damage from that.
And that's my damage as well. I could.
Yeah, your armor counts. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And then Phayder, this weird crab thing, turns its attention to you. And now that you're looking kind of straight at it, it's almost like the kind of crab exoskeleton that it has for its head has like a section that resembles a skull. And you feel this wave of disorienting telepathic force emanate from this creature. And I would like you to make an intellect defense roll.
Come on, dice. Be nice. 12.
Okay. That is exactly what you needed. Good thing that you are a noble, cool character who is not affected by that sort of thing. All right. And then it is Aloof's turn, please. You've got the hairless ape thing and one of these mushroom creatures.
All right. Well, I have a lot on my mind, but let's start with, is it possible that the GM could recommend a player intrusion that would showcase the flavor of the setting.
Sure. In the context of your knightness, or like, give me, just narrow it down.
Sure. All right. Well, sure. Something that would be appropriate for, say, you know, Vitrius's type and that sort of thing.
You're fighting the Horde. You've got an XP that you want to spend.
Yes. I mean, I also have this idea about basically heading over and trying to see if I can maneuver myself to use the flame horn on those two big boys in the back. But I really kind of also just wanted to see what do you think a nice player intrusion to get the flavor of the setting out across might be?
So, one thing that you know as a knight is that this world, as I told you, was raised out of the seafloor. And there are extensive caves and such underground here that were created by the previous civilization that are filled with structural elements and things that augment certain magical sort of things. So you know that there are places that are gaps underground, and if you wanted to not have to deal with the river at all, you could probably just say, oh, there's actually a drainage aperture that the stream is passing that is giving you a convenient shallow area to drive your crafted steed across. Then you could get yourself in a perfect position to line up and do your flame horn to hit both of those creatures. So you'd basically be like, oh, I'm spotting a remnant of that. If I could just make this path right here, I wouldn't even need to make a roll to navigate that, and then you'd be in a great position to attack with the flame horn. How does that sound?
You know, I feel like I could spend an XP on that.
Okay. And you want to move and your flame horn?
I couldn't quite hear you there.
You can move up to 10 squares. You can move over here. So you want to move here and use your flame horn?
Yes, if that actually is logistically correct.
It's totally possible. So yeah, you're like, oh, I found a nice level area, which was kind of hidden. Don't even need to do a trick stunt. And now you're over here, and you want to use your flame horn to blast both of these big guys.
And while we're at it, Uncanny Display is an enabler, so I may as well make a taxing stunt of it, see if I can redeem myself after that.
Nice.
After that sad first attempt.
Go ahead and make your display roll.
Alrighty. So the first roll is a... Ooh, that doesn't look good. Let's see. That's a 5. I think I'm going to spend an XP to reroll, if that's okay.
Do you have 2 XP?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, okay.
That cleans me out. Oh, that's a much better number. That's a 19.
Okay, yeah, that succeeds. So you will do 2 extra damage with your flame horn. And let's say that... Let's say that you activate your flame horn as you're pulling up, and so part of your impressive display is you're just basically laying down a path of fire behind you with your flame horn to prevent these things from chasing you. And then you kind of like sweep around with it, just barely missing Selma, because, you know, Selma, you don't want to hit her with that. But then you just go full force flame horn right there. So it's pretty much, you're incorporating the fact that you have this flame horn cipher into your impressive display. So you're like, I'm just going to drive straight across and then do a cool sweeping sweep of fire.
Nice.
So please make attack rolls with your flame horn against both of those things. These will be speed-based attacks.
Okay. I am rolling a clear die and a black die. Clear will represent the one on the left with the brain. All right, let's see. Brain gets a... that's a 13.
Okay.
And the other one gets a 14.
Okay, those both hit. And how much does your flame horn do?
Let's see. It is 6 damage plus 1 per round until the fire is extinguished.
Okay, so the crab thing is armored a bit. Let's It's on fire now. And the snail thing is armored a bit, and it is on fire now. So those both took a good amount of damage.
That was all my XP.
Well, the good news is both of those things emit a horrible, weird sort of scream. Both of them are kind of different, like because the crab scream is more like a clackety clack sort of thing, like almost like a lobster being boiled, and the snail it's kind of like a twin flute sort of thing. It's just they're not normal creatures. None of these chaos horde things are normal. So, but clearly these are both sounds of pain from these horrible, disgusting things. And we're back at the top.
I got a funny thing I want to do, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question. Landing or bringing the bike back to the ground, is that just movement?
Yeah, like you were hovering, and you didn't say that you wanted to be super, super high. So I'm just assuming you're like 10 feet high. Like
yeah, like the normal. Yeah, just enough to be off the ground, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you call it? So what I want to do is hover over those red things that fell out the mushroom and just fall on them.
Okay, so you just got to basically do a ramming attack with your grounded seed.
A squishing attack. I'm landing on top of them.
All right. Yeah, they are.
Smash.
They are. Normally, you would only be able to. Well, you have a heavy steed, so you can attack up to 3 creatures, but they're in 1 creature's worth of space. So yeah, you can just hit all those things. So go ahead and make an attack roll.
Try to squish them. Natural 20.
Yeah. Okay. And what would you like? So, do you want 4 extra damage, or do you want a major effect?
I want a major effect, and I don't know if this is viable, but you can, because I didn't really move too far. What I want to do is, as I squish them, I don't know if they're dead or whatever, but I want to land and then turn towards the bigger guys and peel out in that direction so I can help out with the bigger people. You know, just essentially get more into the fray after squishing them as my major effect.
Okay. Well, just so, again, keep in mind that because your crafted seed is basically an extension of you, we don't have you roll to, like, if you were just a human walking around, like, I'm going to turn 90 degrees to the left. We don't have you do that. You just spin to whatever orientation you want. So you can just be like, yeah, I'm going to spin and land in this direction. And then as part of your movement, you just want to go that way?
Yeah, towards the big guys. Yeah. And if
all right.
That's too mundane.
No, because here's what we're going to do. I'm going to augment this because of what the GM intrusion was happening was. As you squish these things, you see that they were starting to grow into a bunch more of these little mushroom creatures that were like small and but just rapidly growing. But you squishing them has caused them to explode, kind of like little firecrackers. And so as you land and just basically gun your engine, you're just kind of like spinning your wheels and popping all those things. The force of their explosion just blasts you across the water. You just automatically hydroplane. You didn't even have to do that. And you just leave this trail of like gross mushroom slime behind you. And now there is just kind of like it's almost like an oil slick on the stream that's floating. Now the stream is still moving, right? But you've left like a stream, an area of goo on the stream from killing that off. And yeah, basically your major effect not only propelled you across, but it negated that GM intrusion that was going to happen, which was a horde of little mushroom things coming at you.
Awesome.
So now how close do you want to be to this crab guy?
So I want to just add, this is what I want to do with my flavoring of it, I guess, and you can just tell me how close I get. I want to get as close as I possibly can to the crab thing, but as I'm hydroplaning from the blast of the thingy, of the little eggs or whatever they were, I turn my bike sideways and do the Akira slide. I know I can't attack yet, but I Akira slide at the skull thingy with my shotgun drawn, ready to for the next turn.
All right, you can definitely get some style points for that.
And then again with that slime, that it leaves like a red slime with the Akira slide. Love.
Yeah.
Albatross's move made Selma so jealous. She immediately turns because she turns her bike to do the pinwheel, and you see Chewie's wheels burst into flame, and I want to like spin and hit as many of those targets around me as possible.
Okay. Does it say how many targets you can hit with your spin wheel fire?
It says spin in a circle, shoot out flames, and harm creatures within immediate distance.
All four of those things had just attacked you, so they are within melee range. So you can go ahead and make attacks against all of them.
Okay. It's 1 point of damage on a success, 0 on a. Can I plot? Oh, no, because it's separate. All right, 13 on the first, 14 on the first, 6 on the second, 6 on the third, and 17 on the fourth. So
Okay.
13, 2 6s, and a 7. Oh, that 17 gets me an extra. Oh, 1 point extra.
It gives you +1 damage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you damage all 4 of them. So it's 1 damage except for the 17?
Yeah.
Okay.
If the 6 is hit, yeah, it's 1 damage. And I'm spinning in a circle, and I'm like, the whole time I'm just, as I'm spinning, I'm laughing, I'm looking at Al like, that was so cool. And you just see, my wheels like burst into flame, and you see Chewie, my steed. It almost looks like a fire ring as I'm like doing this donut around all of
Albie is pretty stoic, serious. So he still has his shotgun pointed. He looks at you and just nods, like he doesn't say anything. Just
I award you 2. Okay.
It just, I guess, the spin is the thing. So, since I'm right there and they're right there in front of me, I'm just going to do the typical gun wheel, dump the 1 foot down and make the back of the bike swing around and just ram into these 2. Since it's 2 in front of me, I got a medium bike and I can do a medium attack like that. So they're just getting smacked with the bike just to like smack them away from me.
Alrighty. Make your 2 attack rolls, please.
11.
Yes.
18.
Yes. What do you want the +2 damage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's 4 points of damage and then 6 points of damage.
All right. Slime thing. Let's see, it takes the 6. And so you
They took damage before too, remember?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so you hit the brain thing and kill it. And then as part of your pivot, you basically just chew up the tentacle slime thing with your back wheel, and it just shreds and flies into pieces.
And I look at Selma and Al, and as I finish the maneuver, I look over my shoulder and go.
All right. Now the Horde gets to go. And unfortunately, Selma, there are still 4 on you.
Oof.
So please make 4 defense rolls, please.
Okay. Then I got a
So you're going to move
+1.
up to Vitrius.
16
Actually,
on the first roll.
Sorry, go ahead.
19
Nice.
on the second roll. 2 on the third roll. And actually it's 3 because I got +1. And 10 on the last roll.
Okay. So you're only hit by that remaining brain creature. And you take 2 damage from that. So
That's 2 might, right?
Yes.
Was that 2 or 4 minus the 2 from my armor, or just 2?
It's just 2.
Alright, so then my armor absorbs.
Great.
Yeah.
Vitrius, these 3 move over to you, but they cannot. They have to use their entire move to get to you. And Albatross, you have made yourself a target for the crab thing. So I would like you to make an intellect defense roll as it is trying to blast you with its weird skull forehead thing.
Can I do a player intrusion to help Albatross so he does not have to deal with the full force of it? And I'll give up my XP for it, and I'll say what it is. I start chanting the oath, and to like make him more stalwart because I've already faced this and I realize what it is.
Yeah, so you basically want to do a player intrusion to take an extra action to aid his defense?
Correct. And if I do that, I get my worthy will kick in and I can add 1 point back to one of my pools.
Nice. Okay, so
basically I'll say, let our creed stand strong, let our aim be assured, let their spirits be tempered as steel, for we are sworn, we are bound until the storm ceases, or we do.
All right, so Al, your intellect defense is eased because of Phayder.
I actually rolled while he said a player intrusion. I rolled 16.
Okay, yeah, you defend against this thing. This horrible chaos monster is trying to invade your thoughts with confusion and fear, but you're just too cool, man.
Yeah, I feel it probing my mind, and it just bounces off. That amnesia is real thick.
Unfortunately, you are within melee range, and it is also going to swipe at you with one of its weird, long, gangly claw hands.
Okay, I'm still glowing with my
Nice.
Dream Splinter aura.
Yep.
I do have an inability with speed defense, so let me roll that out. I rolled a 5. I'm assuming that hits.
That hits you, yes. So you take 5 damage.
And it's
going to take 1 damage, right?
2 damage.
2 damage, okay. Well, it is armor, so that doesn't do much to it, but it does a little bit. And it's also still on fire from Vitrius' flame horn.
So that's another point.
And the snail thing. Snail thing is going to attack Selma with more of these tongues. It's going to scoot up a little closer. 2 defense for you, Anthony. Sorry that you're getting ganged up on.
You said 2 or 1? You said 2
because it has 2 heads.
Okay. I got a +1 on the roll. I got a 17 with the +1 on the first roll, and I got a 3 with the +1 on the second roll.
Okay. Well, 17 defends. The second attack hits you for 4. This is just a physical attack, and so your armor does apply.
Yep. Okay. All right. Selma started look a little on the shaky side, fellas. I'm gonna have to take a rest the next fight. I mean, what you call it? Recovery roll on my Cypher.
Oh, and Vitrius. So you had set the snail thing on fire. On your turn, it's going to take more fire damage, but it's hard to read this thing's weird snail face's expression. But you had a distinct moment where it turned both of its heads to look at you and kind of gave you a note look and scooted away. So it's I'm not going to attack the fire guy. It's going after. That's why I went after Selma.
All right.
And it is now Vitrius' turn. So the snail is going to take 1 fire damage, and the crab is going to take 1 fire damage.
All right. Vitrius says, "By the banner of Kobol," and just boom, boom, just cuts straight across from east to west, maybe just wheeling over some tentacles and such,
Okay.
to get to kind of roughly next to Phayder, kind of between those two. And this is just going to be another uncanny display, going for a taxing stunt, and going to try to pop one straight in the middle of the slug thing, the big one.
Okay.
So
your stunt roll, please.
Stunt roll is a 16.
And this thing is big enough that how about we say that part of your stunt is that you are actually just going to drive up the back of its shell and use that to jump over Selma.
Hey, Selma, watch this.
And in midair, while you're kind of flying over, you're I'm just going to shoot the gun down, at the slug, the snail slug, and then land on the other side.
All right. And the roll to make the shot is a 15.
That hits it. How much damage is that?
Let's see. Medium blessed rifle. So that's 6. Is that right?
Damage. Okay, it is armored, so it's going to take a little bit less than that, but it does take a lot. It is looking very hurt. It's got several large chunks blown out of one of its snail necks. And then we're back at the top again. We got.
All right, let me
So
go
I'm gonna.
around it. I just want to get away from here.
Selma, do you want to go first because you're going to take a recovery, or?
No, I was thinking recoveries are for wimps. I just want to drive. I want to drive back to where we were originally on the map, on the other side of the water. But can I use my movement and my attack to ram like the brain and the two things that are in front of me as I'm driving across the river again?
Well, this brain here.
Yeah.
And you want to go across the river that way? So you could go.
Yeah.
You can attack and move up to 10 squares. You could get like to about here.
Yeah. Can I ram those 3 in front of me as I'm crossing the bridge? Or...
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. Make your 3 attacks.
All right. So 14 on the first one, which I
Yep.
guess will 17 on the second one, and
Yep.
6 on the last one. And that would be.
All right, so 17, you splatter this brain.
Yeah.
Because you do 6 damage, right?
Yep.
Yep, that one's down. Okay. This tentacle thing, this is the one that's still on your bike, so you can't really ram that one. This one, you can hit. And how much? There's 6 damage? Okay, so it's, that again is also, no, you hit that one before. So you splatter that one. And what was your third roll? Sorry?
6.
6. That's exactly what you needed. So
Oh, nice.
you splatter that one. And then you wanted to end up over here?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So you're over there. Hair
And
blowing in the wind.
I still have that one on my bike with me.
Right, you still have this thing. So you
That guy's been riding with me the whole fight.
Ride or die. That's the ride or die.
You got the wind in your hair, and they've got the wind in its tentacles. Right. Phayder and Al.
Yeah, because of the position that I'm in, I'm just gonna take my solid slug shot. I'm just gonna try to put one like right in this thing's maw, this right in its skull head, the solid slug. I am going to use my thunder shot. And of course the lightning blaze is already on, and I will spend a level of effort to hit.
Okay.
Here we go. All right.
Let me say, Dean, is your goal to like take this thing out? Because it's
Yes.
Okay. Then I would recommend you put your level of effort to damage.
Okay, let's do that then. All right, yeah, that'll be another 3 points of damage. So if I hit, the grand total damage will be, let's see, 3, 11, 12, 13, 14 points of damage.
All right. So I will say that as a knight, you have practiced using your gun and you've practiced using all your special abilities. You think that might not kill it? Is there anything else you want to do to add to that?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me see. Let me make sure I got everything added up. Okay, if I detonate the bullet in midair over its skull, it'll do 2 points more damage.
Well, I think that would be instead of the impact.
Okay.
I'm going to tip my hand here. I know you have a perfection cipher, and that would be a natural 20, which means you could add an extra 4 damage if you like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, I didn't know I could use the Cypher and do this all in the same round.
Yeah, so this one you can.
Okay.
Just
All
like
right,
just like
then.
Al Stim, you can use that as part of an action.
All right, then I'll do that.
Okay, so natural 20. First of all, that means the points you spent to add to damage, you get those pool points back.
Woohoo.
And so for your 20, is your major effect, you want +4 damage rather than a major effect, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the damage total? Is it 18?
That'll be the total. That'll be a total of 18 points of damage.
Okay, so what do you say as you sniff and use this perfection magic from the people of Sankara?
I say, I am not vengeance, though I tread its path. I am not mercy, though I grieve every shot. I embody memory of the oath, and let the flame remain steadfast.
Nice. So you pull off this perfect, amazing shot. It goes past Albatross's pointed shotgun. Like, it's not even this isn't a you have to dodge out of the way thing. You're just like, he just kind of like uses your shotgun as like an extension of his own sights. He's like, oh yes, that's exactly where I want to point. And this shotgun slug goes right through the skull portion of this thing's carapace, and it falls over dead. That's exactly how much damage you needed to do to it.
Murloc noises as it dies.
We're getting
And it's still on fire.
It's still on fire.
Al, what do you do?
Seeing that the crab guy thingy fell over dead, I definitely want to turn my attention towards the snail thingy.
Snail.
So I psychically whip my cycle 180 to point at it, or I guess whatever 90 degrees, so I can aim at it with my shotgun. But whatever way I can aim with my shotgun, you just see the bike whip around, because again you see it's like psychically attuned to us, so it's just whoop, and I go and I aim my shotgun slugs, with the slugs in it to shoot right at the, I try to aim for that damaged neck area, but yeah.
Okay. Make your attack, please.
Oh, where are my dice? I rolled a natural 1.
Oh, jeez. Do you want to keep that or re-roll it?
I don't have XP, so... Oh, wait. Do I?
Oh.
No. I did from the other GM. I got from the second. So, yes,
Right.
I would...
Yeah.
I would use my last XP for this reroll, yes.
Okay.
12.
12. All right. You hit it. How much damage do you do?
9.
9 damage. Okay, so you shoot like through the neck of the very damaged neck, and that neck just goes limp, and the other one just kind of starts flailing around, and like it's dead, but this is like a death throw sort of thing. It's just kind of like and whipping its chunky weird neck around. So it has died. It doesn't seem like its brains are in the heads, even if it has brains at all. It's hard to say, but yeah, you have killed the giant snail creature.
If that's the case, well, can I still move, or?
Oh yeah, you still have a move.
It's not nothing crazy. I just want to drive over it to like double tap it, essentially, if I can. Like, I don't know how huge it is. Like,
yeah, baby.
And then like try to get to the corner there where the other little horde is, like as close to them as I can get.
You want to go towards these ones?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You want to make sure it's dead.
Yeah, so I drive over the neck, like whatever, like I can sever whatever.
Yeah, you got heavy
You should get on his neck and just grind the neck and peel out.
And then end up there.
Well, you have conveniently made it easy for these 3 things to attack you by driving up to them.
That's fine.
So I would like to make, I'm going to say 1 speed defense roll. They're going to act as a unit.
Okay. 5, and I'm hindered.
Okay. So they attack you. and altogether they inflict 5 points of damage.
All right, and I have 3 armor because I'm wearing heavy armor, so I take 2.
Right. Yes.
Got it.
All right. And then, as a GM intrusion on you, Al, you feel something grab you, but it's not any of these 3 creatures.
Uh-oh.
I would like you to make a might defense roll.
Oh, I think I'm trained with that. Would this be considered a non-combat might-based task?
This is definitely a combat-based task.
Just making sure. I don't know what's happening.
To be so rough.
Oh, I rolled a natural 1.
Okay.
Correct.
I got an XP. You want to re-roll it?
Wait. I guess this is a good rules question. Since this is a GMI, do I already have the XP from it to spend on the reroll?
You do.
You said sure?
Yes, you do.
So then I will spend.
Yes.
I will spend that XP to reroll.
Okay.
I rolled an 11 that time.
Okay. So that fails.
Oof.
And then I would like you. Then here I would like you to make a non-combat separate might-based roll.
Okay, so that one I am trained.
Actually, I'm going to tell you what happens, and I'm going to give you the option to do that.
Okay.
Over here, where all like the dust stirred up was, you earlier saw the 2 big creatures come out of that. But now that you're over here, nobody saw this creature until now. But there is a weird sort of gangly, vaguely humanoid lizard sort of creature with like one arm that's a tentacle, and it's standing where I'm just gonna use this to represent. It's like here, just kind of at the fringe of the vision. You can just barely see them, and like their whole body is covered in like weird, like like when a bodybuilder like works out way too much, and they've just got like veins upon veins upon veins. That's what this weird skinny lizard thing looks like, but the veins are also glowing with magic. And it just kind of like raises its hands, and you feel yourself being pulled into the air. And initially you might think, oh, this thing is just levitating me or telekinesing me or whatever. But as you're feeling this sensation, you realize it's kind of like if this telekinesis ignored the meat of your body and ignored the bones in your body, and it's specifically focusing on all the blood in your body. You're being lifted up by your blood, telekinetically lifted by necromantic blood power. And so it is yanking you into the air. Now you have the option of trying to bring your steed with you, or you can just let it go and you will rise into the air and your steed will stay on the ground.
Do my propellers help in this situation with me lifting
I will
it?
only give you an asset on this roll if you want to.
I definitely want to stay on the steed if I can, because I know it flies.
Okay.
I know I can fly around with it if I'm in the air. So roll 10, and I have the
10.
asset.
Okay. You have the asset. All right. So yeah, you're being pulled up by your blood. This hurts a lot, but with the help of the rotors, you are bringing your crafted steed with you. You are going to take 6 points of damage, bypassing your armor.
All right.
As he's basically just using your own blood to haul you into the air.
Jeez.
And then it is Aloof's turn.
Well, not to screw myself, but I still have that creature on my.
Oh yeah, that's right. Slime monster attacking Selma. Please make a speed defense roll, please.
2.
2. All right, so it hits you with 4 points of acid damage. Your armor
I'm
does.
sorry, 3. Does that make a difference? Because I have.
Oh, so close, but no, it does not.
How many points you said?
4 minus your armor.
Give me a minute. I'll take you to
And then Aloof, you can go. You see that something is yanking Albatross into the air. Actually, from where you are, Aloof, Vitrius, you're actually not entirely sure if Albatross isn't just lifting himself up because he's got a flying cypher. So,
Right, but we can see the new individual on the field, though, right?
He's kind of over in this, like, you maybe can see something. You also know that there are, like, 3 things that are definitely visible that are on. Well, now that Albatross has been pulled away from them, there is a clear shot for them. They're not, able to reach him. But you could see something doing something back here.
Well, I mean, we could maybe try a straight intellect task to see if Vitrius could kind of pick up on the subtlety of the situation.
I mean, if you want to attack this thing, I'm going to let you attack this thing. Because this is clearly a threat.
All right. Well, yeah. So, because here's what I see in my mind. Vitrius boom, fires up and goes for a stunt shot. And while actually somersaulting through the air to land back on the bike, taking the shot in the air, says, "Margaret, I told you never to bother me at work." Like mid-shot.
Okay. Well, there is an incline here for you to. You can't really tell with the snail in the way, but you can ride up on this and use it to catch some air and do a cool flip. So yeah, make your stunt roll.
Stunt roll. It doesn't look good. What do we got? Stunt roll's a 9.
Okay, so that is, you needed a 16, 18? What was your difficulty for that? Does it say in your ability what the difficulty is? You've rolled so well every other time.
Let's see. Oh, it's a difficulty 2. So I'm good.
Oh, okay, so you only needed a 6. So yeah, you get your extra damage.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's have that. Let's see. Now, do I still need to roll the shot?
Yes. That first roll is just to determine if you've got your extra damage.
Let's see. That's 17.
That hits this thing.
All right. So, medium blessed rifle, Goethe, who will not be forgotten, sings through the air, just aimed for the center of mass.
Okay. And that's 6 plus 2 damage.
I believe so.
Okay. So you hit this thing. It is kind of armored somehow, like it's got weirdly tough flesh, but you do a significant amount of damage to it, and you're gonna end up.
Yeah.
And
also, you really need to work on your skincare, Margaret.
It hisses in a very unhumanoid sort of way, and there is just a brief burst in your mind of like a feeling of anger and disgust as you have harmed it and gotten close to it. And as a group GM intrusion, everybody gets 1 XP. And Al, you kind of recognize, just because you had this happen to you, you see this thing make that same sort of gesture of lifting that it does with its hands, but it lifts itself, and it goes and flies itself into that weird kind of drainage thing that Vitrius noticed before. And it just kind of like does a swan dive. It crashes through whatever metal grate there was over that sort of thing and disappears, and it is gone.
What? Can I spend that new XP you gave me for a player intrusion? Just out of something crazy?
Sure, I want to hear it.
When I see the thing, dive into the hole, I'm going to speed my bike over. And do I smell any gas or any fumes, any methane or anything like that?
From
the tube. I'm thinking if there's anything coming out, I want to jury rig my my Cypher, the one that makes all the oxygen, the breathable air, so I can shoot it and explode and just cause a fireball to run through the tube to try to get this thing. You can't let it get away.
That's probably too much for a 1-round GM intrusion.
No problem. I won't try it.
That's a good idea. If there was like some of your fuel already out there, totally would let you do that. You do see now that where it went, there is kind of there is a hole in the stream, and so the water is kind of pouring down into there. Much of the stream is still flowing by, but it's kind of like if there's a flood situation in like Alabama or whatever, and they have the big manhole, somebody cracks it,
Right.
and go, but you can see the water is kind of going down, and that's what it looks right there. But we are out of combat because I'm just going to assume that the 4 Gunslinger Knights can quickly eliminate these 3 weak little monsters. So you do?
Yeah, Albatross just rams them.
The
Yes, there you go.
The monster that's still on my bike, I'm gonna be like, well, this was fun, and then I'm just gonna blast.
Yeah. Now that you're not trying to ram things with your bike and actually using your magical gun, yeah, you can quickly shoot that thing and whatever it is.
Quickly dispatch it.
Switch
Fire did its job.
I
so
kind of
funny.
wish we could have kept it.
A
That
pet?
thing is still on the
Little
bike.
pet.
The whole...
Hey, Sean's back.
You missed my beautiful face. So yeah, you've got a bunch of horrible monsters that you've destroyed. You got to do some cool stunts. Whatever that thing was, that lizardy sort of thing, has gotten away. So now the question
Margaret is going to get a talking to when I get home.
You have, so off in the distance, like the storm is kind of petering out. Some storms last only 10 minutes and spawn like a dozen or so creatures. Some of them last hours and just spawn dozens and dozens. This was a relatively small storm. So you have dealt with the threat that was there, but you don't know what that thing was, that thing that got away, or where it went. So
Is that the next Gunslinger Knight adventure? The thing that got away?
the thing that got away, yes.
As
Probably
a
at this
truth,
point,
right?
you probably at this point would do like a patrol, just kind of like scout the area for any other like leftover horde creatures to see if there was any more that had come out or had gone into hiding. Another thing that happens is when these things die or when they spend too much time in an area, they corrupt the land and the animals and plants and turn them into like monsters. So you probably do a sweep for things like that and just burn the ground where they were to prevent it from turning into that horrible stuff. But you do all that stuff, and then you should return to the Bastion and report what you said or what you saw.
And so I'm assuming while the rest of the group is, since I'm the youngest, I'm burning everything while they, documenting what we thought, and I'm just like lighting everything on fire.
Okay.
Yeah, Albatross is
So you
definitely
return to
taking notes, like detailed, report to give to Captain Onyx.
Right.
Yeah, when we get back, I just I stand there again, and once again, all of this stuff, his clothes are clean, his bike is clean, he's a pristine soldier,
Which is unusual because those brain things exploded on him, but so now he's just totally fine.
And you see him, and when we get back to Onyx, he, as Albatross has given his report, he drops to one knee in the traditional salute, and as always, you served me well. That's his.
So Captain Onyx commends you on dealing with that horde from the Fundament Storm, and he confirms, yes, it was a small one, so doesn't expect to have any other creatures running around after that. When you tell him about that lizard-like thing that got away, he says, sounds like a fiend, and they have not come over to this part of the world in a long time. That worries me. You know that the Veen are kind of the leaders of the crawling hordes, in the sense that the Veen are intelligent and don't just act like mindless beasts. There are several different kinds of them. They all practice some sort of necromantic sorcery. One type is blood necromancy, another type is bone necromancy, and another type is soul necromancy. These seem to be seems to be one of the blood necromancy types, and yeah, that ability just to yank you around by your own blood is one of the powers that they have. They ask for a description of it. They tell you that they don't have a uniform appearance. Like all the creatures of the crawling deeps tend to look different, but the Veen do tend to be humanoid, but they are like ape-like Veen, lizard-like Veen, various humanoid-ish sorts of things. But so you can't really classify them. The Knighthood isn't even sure that they are of the same species. They might just be creatures that evolved to a certain level of intelligence and then gained these necromantic powers. They're telepathic. They command the other hordes. They sometimes capture humans and animals and experiment on them, but their experiments are strange. Like, it's almost like they don't even understand how bodies from this world work. So sometimes they just dissect them, sometimes they pour chemicals on them. It's just, they're very confusing, and it's not, the Knighthood is not sure what to do about them other than to acknowledge that among all the crawling hordes, they are the most dangerous because they are intelligent and they work together. And the fact that you saw one so close to one of the bastions is a bad sign. But despite that, otherwise, very successful first mission. He suggests you all just rest a bit. You're going to need your strength, get some food. They've got medical personnel who will bind your wounds, etc., etc. And you're going to be stationed here for at least a few more weeks. So you just need to get in the habit of going out on patrols, meeting up with the Sankarans, and you are the do-gooders of this world. Like, you are like Arthurian knights, and that your role is, I'm going to go do quests. And if there are weird, corrupted monsters that show up from the crawling horde's blood or their presence, like, it is your responsibility to hunt those things down and destroy them. But Knight Onyx says you've done a very good job, and y'all should be proud.
I imagine Selma, as she's pulling Chewie in, pulling her steed in, she pulls out a rag and starts wiping Chewie down, and she goes, "Big bro, I hope you're proud of me." And you're right, that was a lot of fun.
So you know that, like, there are squires and technicians who will help upkeep your weapon and your steed, but as a point of honor, most knights say, no, this is my duty. This is the weapon that chose me. I chose them. So you paying that level of attention to your crafted steed, Knight Onyx gives you a respectful nod.
I look at my fellow knights. Blades may duel, barrels may cool, but hearts like ours burn ever true. We rode through fire and stood through the night, steel and smoke, our bond in the fight. So raise our irons, brothers bold. The tale is ours, and we shall lead the fold. Thank you, my brothers.
So that's our little scenario.
Awesome! That was so much fun, Sean.
I wanted to show that this is there's a lot more tactics involved. Like, not everything you have to do would be a battle map, but like, I happen to have little motorcycles, and I like to put miniatures on a table when I have the opportunity to do that. Sorry that you didn't get to see me while I was doing that, but I wanted to emphasize this. Yeah, I think the emphasis for this scenario is to show you that, yeah, you have such mobility. Like, it's so different than a normal Cypher System sort of combat encounter, because you can just go all over the map as much as you want. And it's the assumed situation is that you are on your crafted steeds. Like, going into a building or going into a dungeon is a very uncommon sort of thing. Like, you are meant to be running around and shooting stuff. And when we did the initial playtest for this, these weapons had normal damage and they had normal ranges. And we said, you know what? That's not nearly cool enough. You're going to be running around going a long distance or a very long distance. We want you to be the long distance, like you all decided to just ride right up into it. But if you wanted to spend a round or two shooting from distance, like, you are so much faster than them, you could have eliminated half of them. And that's intentional. Like the intention is that you have a lot of low-level horde creatures. So you can be like, yeah, I'm just shooting them all up, and they're dying. And then when you get to the end, there's the group and the big ones. So it's a different power dynamic where you're still tier 1, but you're an elevated tier 1, and the expectation is, yeah, you are the heroes, you are the super badasses of this world dealing with these horrible things.
What I really like about it is that you're one and the same with your steed, and the steed has abilities as well. So it's like, like, am I going to use what my steed could do, or am I going to use what my character could do? It adds a new level of tactics that may not be in some other Cypher system game. So that's actually really cool. Like I really enjoyed that.
And as your character advances, like every time you advance to a new tier, you get a new crafted steed ability and a new blessed weapon ability. So this is just like they're leveling up with you.
What I liked about it felt like really organic in the flexibility. I really, when you let us, it was just funny when we all three did did the spin out type maneuver, but it was all different. Anthony's was fire, Al's was, just splattering something, and I was able to use like my ramming ability. So all of those things I like, and I like all of that. That's like Anthony said, it's just a new aspect and a new, I guess you could say, tactical layer, within the narrative, which is awesome. I really, I'm digging it.
This is, we initially had this set up so that you would have to make ride rolls for like, you haven't had your hands on the handlebars for a round, so you're going to get unstable. We're like, no, we don't want that. Like, your crafted steed and your blessed weapon are part of your character sentence. Like, we say that in the book. You should consider yourself as, I am blank blank who blanks, who wields blank and rides blank. Like, that is you.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking I had a really good time just being able to actually say, "Oh, I'd like to do this," and you could just do it. And the fact that there's a battle map wasn't really a hindrance, which sometimes they can be, and sometimes it's like a psychological thing, right? It's like we were given permission to kind of go ham.
And in the chapter there's a chapter about running a Gunslinger Knights campaign. And it talks about how, the social dynamic is different. Like, you're not like, oh, we're going to sit in a tavern and wait for somebody to give us a job. It's like, no, you have a job. Your job is to go kill horrible monsters. And the chapter also talks about the tactical aspect of you want to present situations where the players can do cool things with their crafted steeds and, take advantage of the terrain and do fancy stunts. Or sometimes you'll have complications like driving through the water. Or, do you want to drive up that cliff? Yes, you can. Do you want to jump off a cliff? Yes.
I'm just already imagining a little bit of a mashup using this plus Tolas.
Yeah, I could totally see that. With the magical technology, I could totally see that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if some people take bits of this and incorporate some of it into Cyberpunk as well. Like, I actually got all these motorcycle things for a Cyberpunk chase adventure that I'm doing. But the fact that I could use them again for Gunslinger Knights is just a bonus.
Oh,
you've already started something. I literally, while we were sitting here, I was looking online for files, for STL files for my 3D printer, because I'm gonna print up like all these crazy motorcycles. I found some cyberpunkish looking ones. I found some magical looking ones. So I'm gonna have a blast. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be fun at the table with a battle map.
Oh, you haven't given your point yet. What's your take?
Well, I don't really have a takeaway. Y'all basically hit the nail on the head with fun aspects. Like, this is a great setting and whatnot. I do have 2 questions, if you don't mind answering. They should be short-ish questions or answers. One, is Sakara gonna be the only plane detailed in the setting, or are there gonna be multiple different Sakara-esque realms for us to visit?
So there's a chapter on Sankara, and the expectation is that this is where the primary work of the Knights is happening right now. If the campaign ends up like you deal with the threat of the Veen and you overcome them, and Sankara is now saved, then there is a little bit that says, feel free to send them off to another dimension. Like the Stair-Crossed Souls should be able to reach anything. And we even call out, hey, Path of the Planebreaker has a whole bunch of example dimensions that you could go to. Conversely, like if things go badly in Sankara and this world gets destroyed, then you'll have to move as many refugees as you can to another world. And again, it becomes another planar crossing sort of adventure. So either way, the focus is on Sankara, but the door is open to go elsewhere.
And then
I assume that you can.
No,
Yeah,
I just had a second
go ahead,
question. Very simple one. Because of the nature of the creatures, I don't know if you've mentioned this in talking about the book before. Is there going to be like a random generated table for them? Because again, they're very weird creatures. None of them are the same. It would just stand to reason there would be like a table to generate them.
Yeah, so there's a selection of creatures in the book that have full creature stats, and those are like the common ones. Like there aren't really things that are common, but those are ones that the knights have seen before, and it's just we give the GM examples of that sort of thing. And then we have several types of Veen that are fully statted. And in the advice chapter, it says it's okay just to have some generic level 1, level 2, level 3 sort of creatures, and just make them. There's like a creature A, creature B mashup sort of thing to come up with ideas for this. The zine that goes with this, Mother of Storms, also has some additional random creature appearance sort of looks. And in the Gunslinger Knights book, there is a section that you can just roll on a table of, I want to have a weird additional ability. Like, for example, the mushroom creatures were just level 2, and the slime monsters were level 3, and the brain things were level 2. But you can roll on a table like, I want a random special ability for those. So the fact that the brain things exploded, that was one of them. The crab thing having a telepathic attack, that was one on the random table. I'm just going to pick a few for that. So yeah, the idea is that we want the GM to have a lot of...
I'll be right back. I gotta let the dog out.
But no, that answers my question perfectly. That's awesome. I'm very much looking forward to that aspect.
And that was essentially what I was going to ask, Al. I was going to ask about the creatures and how to, because it is like these creatures are very unique and very different. So I was going to ask, like, what methods are you going to use so far as to be able to create creatures on the flies? Pretty much.
And if I were doing an ongoing Gunslinger Knights campaign, I would probably also use the weird, just to come up with additional weird creature ideas on the weird deck.
Oh, I think my weird is in my closet. I was going to take it out, but I think it's all the way over there.
I guess the next question we'll ask is, how soon can we see this?
It is in. You can pre-order it now. We just sent it off to the printer a couple of weeks ago, so I think it's like got a late July release date.
Oh, so that's right around the corner. We're going to be playing some Gunslinger Knights.
And we're going to be, MCG is going to be at Gen Con, and we're going to be running a one-shot called The Blue Knight, which is an adventure that Bruce wrote for the book. Be at Gamehole Con as well, running that same adventure. I wanted to run one now that wasn't from the book, so that people who go to Gen Con or Gamehole Con will have a different adventure to play. This was just...
self-promotion.
This was actually the adventure that I did for the playtest. It was just a quick combat counter so they could see how the combat worked. They added some stuff around the front back.
A little self-promotion. That same exact adventure is available at CypherCon. It's because all the adventures from Gen Con are available at CypherCon. So if you can't make it to Gen Con, you could always game with us at CypherCon online, and that adventure is going to be available for everyone to play.
And to piggyback off
that adventure is called The Blue Knight, right?
Yep.
Yes. But
that is a full 4-hour adventure. This is just a little short 2-hour scenario sort of thing. So.
My piggyback off Anthony's statement was not only could you come play it, we are still looking for GMs. If you want to try running the Blue Knight, I believe there are still tables available. And again, we will be providing you the playing materials and whatnot for the MCG adventures. So if you're interested in running the Blue Knight, you can definitely do that too.
I also want to add, this is just like the toe in the water of what's in the book. There's so much stuff. Like all 4 of you had foci from the book. There are 2 additional foci, and they all focus on different things. There's a whole bunch of new ciphers in here that are like machine ciphers and also like herbal ciphers from the people of Sankara. It talks about like going from being a page to a squire to a knight. Like there's optional rules. If you want to play a squire who doesn't yet have a blessed weapon and doesn't yet have a crafted steed, you're like doing some like young adventurer sort of adventures dealing with stuff, and then you graduate to being a knight, you can do that.
Oh, that sounds
like that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah, that sounds like that would be a lot of fun.
And it's fun because like you start as a character and you have your name and stuff, but like then when you get knighted, like you have the knighting ceremony, you get to choose what knight name you want, you get to name your blessed weapon, your crafted steed, as I had you guys do. So just so everybody in the audience knows, all four of these players, like I asked them, like, what do you want your steed to be called? What sort of steed do you want? Like they had a lot of input in this, so I was just throwing the game mechanics at them, but they had all the stuff that they have is the choices that they made. I did not just make these characters and hand them to them. So there's a lot of fun choices for characters. And again, because it's Cypher system, you could use it anything else. There's new descriptors. There are 3 new types. 2 of them, one of them is the kind of based on the explorer, one of them is based on the warrior, and one of them is based on the adept, but they're all tuned specifically for this setting. So if you want to have like a different take that's like, oh yeah, everybody has motorcycle abilities and everybody has like knightly abilities and that sort of thing. It's in the same way that Neon Rain has a different take on the warrior, the explorer, and so on for a specific cyberpunk setting.
It was really nice. I mean, like I said, playing the Stormbringer was an interesting twist on the adept, and it was like really cool because, you know, in most games, no matter what game you play, you know, magic user types feel kind of flimsy, you know, to a degree. They feel fragile. This guy doesn't, you know, he didn't feel fragile at all, you know, and he was able to like kind of be middle of the road with his abilities and, you know, insight. So yeah, great stuff, man.
I love the fact that we all seem quite different. You know, like we were unique in our own way. Not only the way that we flavored the characters, but the way the abilities work. Like everyone seemed to stand out and be different, and that's always good. But that, not to toot Sean's horn, but that's usually kind of Sean's staple.
He can do it well.
Yeah, you know, like I wouldn't expect anything less. You know.
Oh, just one more thing. I was just skimming the table of contents. There's a chapter here on oaths, which are basically custom character arcs for the Gunslinger Knights. So I didn't want to introduce that for the short scenario, but like as a starting character, you'd be like, I'm going to pick an oath, and that might be, you know, like I want to advance myself within the ranks of the knighthood, or my goal is to kill a certain number of monsters, or I want to go and avenge myself against a knight who turned against the knighthood, for example. So if you basically look at the Cypher System rulebook, there's a specific Gunslinger Knight aspect to just about every chapter and option that's in there that we just kind of made focus for this.
That's like I said, it's unique, but it's still Cypher, so it's like really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much for running for us, Sean.
Thank you for playing, guys. I know that we are running late, as I always do.
No, perfect. And like Sean said, you can pre-order it now. The MCG store, Monica Game Store. So head on over there now. If you like what you saw, you like the game, you just like the concept of Gunslinger Knights, give it a try. You know, pre-order it now, and you should be getting it by July.
And there's a preview. There's also a downloadable PDF preview of it as well. So if you want to just get your feelers out there, get your brain wet with it, you know, and let it moisturize you a little bit, that's an option as well.
Aloofandpoofed, thank you so much for coming on. You want to give us your final thoughts, and we really appreciate you, you know, spending, you know, the last couple of hours with us and gracing us with your presence.
Well, this is a big opportunity for me. I mean, you guys are just freaking awesome, and of course the indomitable Sean K Reynolds. So I mean, this is It's a cool evening for me. I'm in the middle of an on-call week that's had some stressful moments. So thanks for helping me have less of that. And honestly, I'm going to straight up steal some of this for my ongoing campaign.
Where can you be reached on your socials? And do you have anything you want to plug?
I'm not really a socials kind of person. You guys can find me at the Cypher Unlimited Discord, calming down Charlie.
Well, I just want to say, Aloof, you are one of the superstars of the community. Thank you so much for being a part of our community and such. Just as giving as you are, completely across the board. We really appreciate you.
Thanks.
Al, I know you have a little announcement you want to talk about before.
The only announcement I recall of just a reminder for everyone: if you haven't signed up for the backer kit to be announced for the new Cypher system book thing that MCG is doing, here is that link. You can sign up to be noticed, and I believe you're getting a pin for signing up. I forget what the bonus is. I think it's a pin. Like, you get a little pin for signing up for the early, notification thing. It might not be a pin. I know they usually give something, but I feel like I remember a pin.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. That sounds about right.
Just so we were aware of some of the stuff that's happening, but MCG will explain it all, and I think some people are jumping the gun and either worrying too much or just coming
losing their minds. Absolutely, losing their minds.
Yes.
Talk about hype.
I was trying to be diplomatic about it, but yeah, MCG, trust me, they will explain everything, and the best way to get that information is go to the backer kit and sign up for the to receive the information. Everyone will be emailed it, and so if you really concerned or you want answers to some of the questions you have, the best way to do it is to go through MCG, the backer kit. I was gonna put the thing again, and guys, it's not this end of the world scenario that some people are making it out to be.
We're going to have a series of really informative articles explaining what this new thing is and why we're so excited.
And it sounds hella cool from what we've heard.
Yeah. A lot of the... all I can say is this: from what we've heard, the little things we've heard, it all keeps in line with what Cypher already is. I don't think anybody has to worry.
From doing a video tomorrow.
From the standpoint of someone who has no idea what's coming, my advice to the world is relax, breathe, know that soon you'll be able to indulge this luxurious hobby of ours again.
Yes.
Well put.
And Sean, where can you be reached besides the Cypher Unlimited Discord?
I mean, I'm Sean K Reynolds everywhere. I mostly am on Blue Sky and my own Patreon. That's the best place if you want to have the random thoughts coming out of my head. Sometimes weird articles about gaming history, lots of Cypher System and 5e content. Yeah, I just like to write stuff and reach out to people.
And Sean, everybody knows how the CU feels about Sean. He is now the new champion of CU appearances. Sean surpassed Charles today. And Sean, we love you. You mean so much to us, the three of us personally, but so much to the community as a whole. And you wrote my favorite MCG book, Stay Alive. So,
Oh yeah, I just finished a successful Stay Alive campaign. It was awesome.
Stay Alive is such a great book. I still remember when that PDF came out. I read it 3 times in one night. It was crazy. I was like, calling, Anthony, did you see this? Did you see this? And then of course you worked on Claim the Sky, which is my favorite book.
And my current campaign. It's kind of a Claim the Sky / Numenera / Stars Are Fire.
Nice.
Well, I mean, you guys are great. I really appreciate all the support, and I love coming on your stream and just running games and talking about stuff. Like, I will repeat what I said in our private Discord comment. Like, if you sit down and do a Neon Rain page through, let me know when that's going to be. So I'll either sit in the audience and heckle, or I will provide additional input.
Yeah, we definitely are going to do that. Actually, Dean actually wrote the script, so we're probably going to do that within the next coming.
Well, I haven't wrote that script yet. I'll write that one now. I wrote Gunslinger Knights. We didn't do that. I mean, not Gunslinger Knights.
High Noon at Midnight.
High Noon at Midnight. I wrote those up. I'm gonna do Neon Rain. I'll probably do it this weekend because I'm gonna be unsupervised. My wife's going out of town. I'm gonna be home alone.
Well, I'm getting married July 12th, so I'm not available like right before that. So not then.
Okay. We will make sure we'll hold it off. Congratulations. Damn, I wish I could be there, you know, but you're all the way in Seattle.
Yeah, it's a long trip for a lot of people, so I get it.
And guys, this is our first Moonbeam Anywhere Door exclusive video. So this, I think it went well without any hitches. So if you're first time coming or you're watching this in the future times tomorrow, head on over to the Moonbeam Anywhere Door and we'll share the link on the YouTube video, or go to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube videos, or we still stream on Twitch. Give us a follow there as well. If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monte Cook games. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for everything MCG. Like we always say, our videos are always free, but if you want to help us out financially in any way, you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi, or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch, like the hat I got on, or the shirt Dean got on. And yes, the new Cypher, we're working on the new CypherCon shirts. They look fantastic. Ked Hub and Sin are the two artists that are working on them, and we've seen the proofs of those guys. They look freaking fantastic. Yeah, they look amazing. We have a website that's going to be up and running in the next few weeks with links to everything. You'll be able to check it out there. Am I missing anything? I already talked about all the other stuff. Last but not least, we love you guys.
And I put the link, our link tree in the Moonbeam chat. So if you want to see our links, just click that. It has all of our links. And if you're watching on YouTube, just down below, you'll have all those links that Anthony mentioned. And one other mention, I know we mentioned it earlier, if you haven't signed up to GM for CypherCon and you would like to, definitely head on over to the Discord. There will be a link down below if you're watching us on YouTube, and if you just click the link tree, you can join the Discord. And yeah, because we're still looking for GMs. We still have plenty of slots open, both your own game and MCG's games. So yeah, definitely a lot of choices and time slots available. So, yeah.
Gunslinger Knights. I want to see some Gunslinger Knights GM.
Night.
But yes, thank you again, Sean, for running this for us. Thank you, Aloof, for coming on and playing with us. Thank you, everyone in the audience, for watching. And as usual, from us at the CU, we will see you later.